Hey everybody, next week we have patch 8.6.0, so today I'm going to look at the patch notes and try and go over them quickly for you. So, to start off, mending is being nerfed. Well, buffed, depending on what role you play. Survivors now have to mend 2 seconds shorter, that being 10 seconds for a self-mend and 6 seconds for a team mend. This is to try and reduce the amount of stopping and holding a button for, multiple seconds at a time. To compensate for this, Legion's getting a buff. Fatigue time is going to be shorter, your fatigue movement speed is going to be better, which is whatever, I guess. Frenzy is going to last an extra second, your cooldown is going to be 5 seconds shorter, and your movement speed after a hit is going to be quite a bit better, and then some add-ons are going to be changed. Legion, not really in a great spot. They're one of the worst killers in the game. I don't think they're quite bottom 3, but it's nice to see some changes to Legion. Up next, we have the Xenomorph. So, when I looked at this originally, this is one of the ones that interested me more than most of them. So, Xenomorph is a killer who is strong, and I don't really think that many people were clamoring for big changes to Xenomorph. So, I don't know. You're going to have to see the opinion of Xenomorph mains on this, but in my opinion, it's good, ? To start off, we have 2 nerfs. We have an increased tail attack charge time. It was at 0.2, now it's going to be at 0.35. There's a louder noise now when you're actually using the tail attack for survivors, so it's more reactable. The missed attack cooldown has been reduced to 2.5 seconds from 3. The killer instinct range is now 4 meters longer. The time to get out of the tunnel has been reduced, and the amount of fire, this is the big one for me, the amount of fire needed to burn the Xenomorph out of crawler mode has been almost doubled. And then a bunch of smaller stuff, honestly. So, what I want to talk about is the fire one. This is essentially making Xenomorph's best add-ons, some of its best add-ons, base kit, which is really good. Xenomorph was extremely add-on reliant. It doesn't really have that many good add-ons. I think it's like Destructor Bolt, what are they called? Lambert's Star Maps Emergency Helmet, I think it's called. And, Ripley's Watch is considered really good by some people. But, yeah. So, this is aiming to make Xenomorph less add-on reliant, I think, and less of a, spamming the tail, even though they're reducing the cooldown now. I don't know. I just, I think they're trying to make the tail actually mean something, as opposed to just spamming it. But then at the same time, they're lowering the miss cooldown, so who knows. The main takeaway, though, for Xenomorph, less add-on reliant for sure. So, good for Xenomorph, I think. We'll have to actually see this on the PTB. Up next is we have the good guy. So, Chucky is an extremely controversial killer, I find. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, hate Chucky. I used to hate Chucky. After he caught some nerfs, I started to really like him, and now he's one of my favorite killers to play as and against. All they've done is they've reduced the cooldown to 12 seconds. I think that's good. I think he needed that. Right now, with 14 seconds, it was like, I used to call it on stream, Chucky's, what's it called? Slice and dice. It felt like an Overwatch ultimate. Like, you had to charge it up. You couldn't just use it, which was a bit annoying. So now Chucky is back to what I would call a pretty fair cooldown, and also his max speed and scamper is being buffed, meaning that he can hit max speed and scamper much faster. This is really good, I think, actually. Scamper is really hard to do, so rewarding it, I think, is a good thing. Happy with these Chucky changes. Can we please stop changing him now? He's been changed so many times. Please just leave the little man alone. So the next thing is probably the most interesting thing on the entire list. Tear radius changes. We've had 5 of them. 3 of them have had their tear radius reduced to 24 meters. 2 of them have had their tear radius increased to 40. So the Hillbilly and the Blight both have had their tear radius increased to 40 meters. I want to talk about these 2 first. These are 2 of the 3 strongest killers in the game. Blight, I think, will be relatively fine with this. It's so strange, because I think Blight is stronger than Hillbilly, but I think this change is actually better for Hillbilly, like, gonna make him stronger. I want to talk about a perk that's been in the game for a long time, that not many people use, but it's used really well, especially on Hillbilly, and that's Infectious Fright. Now, Infectious Fright, unless I'm just completely wrong and misremembering it, affects survivors in your terror radius, With a bigger tear radius, Billy is now going to be able to get really good value out of Infectious Fright, and since he has an insta-down, he's going to be able to snowball really well. Really, kind of nervous about this. But I think overall it's good. Gives people more of a warning against Hillbilly. I don't know. I'm pretty hopeful for it. I also want to add on that I think Doctor should be given a 40-meter tear radius if we're doing this. I know he's not like a top-tier killer or anything, but like, his whole thing is if you're in your tear radius, he shocks you. So let's give that to Doctor too. Why not? Blight, well, I think will be fine. I'm not really too concerned about that. I do want to talk about the stealth killers though. Spoiler. So, Pig's tear radius down to 24. Really funny because originally they changed Pig's tear radius to 32 because they wanted to standardize killer tear radius. And now they've once again changed Pig. Very, very funny. Good for Pig players. Monitor abuse now. I think it goes without saying. Probably going to be really good for these killers. Skull Merchant, 24 meters. They go out of the way that Skull Merchant doesn't really fit as a stealth killer. But, guys, come on. She's so bad. Just give her something. Yeah, it's not really going to move the needle. But it's fine, I guess. And then the last one, Ghostface tear radius to 24 meters. A lot of you don't know this, but Ghostface is one of my favorite killers. At least he used to be one of my favorite killers in the game. He was my first ever P100. He was my main for like 2019 to 2023 or something like that. Like, I loved Ghostface. He's really bad. Happy about this. I might start playing him more. It's a really good change for him, especially, I think. Him and Pig are really going to benefit from this. But 24-meter tear radius, really good. Happy about that. Again, on Blight and Billy, I think they'll both be fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's good changes. Match surrender option. We already talked about this a little bit in the earlier video about the health patch. I don't really think you're going to see this. Like, it's a really cool idea. I'm glad Behavior implemented it. But the only conditions I can see ever happening is everyone being in the dying state, and that's it. Because people not doing a generator for 10 minutes is a batshit idea, and I don't think it's probably ever actually happened. Well, I can't say that, because someone in the comments will be like, oh, it happened to me last week. That does not happen. That happens extremely rarely. And if that does happen, literally everybody in the match is having a terrible time, so why would they do that? At least when, like, a killer is slugging all 4 people, they can have fun being an asshole. Again, I can't really say that people don't hide for 10 minutes because apparently Behavior sees that as something that happens often enough to make it a surrender option. So, like I said, I just don't think you're ever going to see this, which is probably good now that I think about it. I don't know, I just think the surrender conditions are a bit weak. We'll see though. But yeah, moving on. Changes to the Forsaken Boneyard. Thank you, Behavior. I'm so sick of seeing Eerie offerings almost every day when I stream. Twitch.tv/Kassir. Yeah, so they've added a whole new map to Eerie of Crows, which is good, because now when you bring an Eerie offering, you're not guaranteed to have one of the worst maps in the game. Yeah, not really going to go over this because we don't know what it looks like. I don't see any way they could have made a map worse than Eerie of Crows. Yeah, pretty happy with this. Good job, Behavior, but let's move on. I don't really have much to say about this until we see it ourselves. Quick and Quiet, perk updates, by the way, sorry, I should have said that. Quick and Quiet, 15-second cooldown now instead of 20, this is good. We're gonna rattle through these, by the way, because it's not really anything that exciting. 15 seconds instead of 20 cooldown, pretty good, happy for that. Quick and Quiet's one of those perks that I think has always been good, it's just not in that top echelon of perks. Deception, you no longer have scratch marks after doing your, funny move for an extra 2 seconds, putting up to 5 seconds. The cooldown's been reduced to 15 seconds as well. This one actually might end up being pretty good. I think it'll only work once or twice before the killer realizes you have the funny locker perk, and then you won't really get any more use out of it. But, again, another funny perk that's been buffed. I like this. Dance With Me. 15-second cooldown. Your scratch marks are gone for 2 more seconds. I actually think Dance With Me is a pretty good perk right now, especially with Life and Finesse. You could probably do Life, Finesse, Quick and Quiet, and Dance With Me, and you just have a I'm fucking gone forever perk. Or build, rather. I messed up the joke. Oh well. But yeah, Dance With Me, I think it's always been kind of good, but it's fine. Who cares? I shouldn't say that, that's mean, because I like Dance With Me. Anyways, moving on. Red Herring, I don't know. I don't know. The cooldown's been reduced to 15 seconds. It's just not a good perk, though. So these are all like funny, like haha, I'm gone perks, which is fun. But Survivor didn't get any actual good perk changes, like strong perk changes, except maybe Quick and Quiet. So I don't know. Killer perks, same way, nothing really that exciting. We're gonna save this perk for last though. So Alien Instinct, you're gonna see the aura more often, and the Survivor gets Oblivious for 60 seconds. I think fundamentally Alien Instinct is just not a good perk. Like, I'm sorry. It's just not a good perk at all. Moving on though, before I get the Alien Instinct fans up in arms, we have Hysteria. The duration of the Oblivious is now 40 seconds, and it has a shorter cooldown from 30 seconds to now 20. Yeah, I actually think Hysteria is pretty decent, so you might see it used more often. Again, it's not a very good perk. Like, it's not a top tier perk. It's not like Hex Plaything, you know, when it comes to Oblivious, but I don't think it's too bad of a perk. Death Pound. It is now... Wait, what the fuck? Sorry, I'm just seeing this for the first time. Did they nerf Deathbound? Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. I understand now. No, Deathbound was buffed. So now once survivors are 4 meters away from each other, they will be given the Oblivious status effect instead of 8 meters. Originally, I was reading this as they had to be, once they're outside of 4 meters from each other, they aren't Oblivious anymore. But no, this is actually pretty good. Deathbound is one of those perks right now that I think is pretty decent, but again, this is a good change. All these perks, by the way, are all focused on Oblivious, except one of them, which we'll cover last. Nemesis. You see the aura for 8 seconds instead of 4 after being stunned. Pretty cool. I like it. Oblivious, like, talking about Oblivious, outside of Plaything, I don't really think any of them are that usable. I don't know. And plus, you gotta be on a killer that Oblivious is really gonna do something for, like Hillbilly or something. So... Excuse me, sorry. You're 12 minutes into the video. I'm sure you understand what's going on. Oblivious just isn't really that strong of an effect, other than, like I said, Plaything. I don't think we'll see these perks used often. See, the issue with Dead by Daylight, like, forever, but we'll use right now as an example. On both sides, the meta perks are just so strong that why would anybody use anything fun like these perks? Like, you're not going to see people using Deception, Dance With Me, Quick and Quiet, or whatever else was changed for Survivor. And you're not going to see people running any of these except maybe Hysteria. They're just, like, not good perks. And they're good... Oh, this is so hard. They're good perks, but they're not the meta. And, like, nobody's going to use anything except, like... Why would I, if I really cared about winning, use Alien Instinct, for example, when Pain Res DMS is so strong? And that's just an issue that Dead by Daylight inherently has. So buffing these perks up in a safe way is not going to really do much. Which is a shame, because these are really cool changes, and I'm really happy to see these. But anyways, back on track. The final perk I want to talk about is Knockout. So... Whenever a survivor drops a pallet, if they move 6 meters away from it within 16 seconds, they gain 5% hindered. I think this is to counter pre-dropping. So, the killers I can think about this being really good on is Clown, Big Man Freddy, people who can hinder survivors further. You're going to be slowed down a lot with a Freddy snare and a 5% hinder, something like that. People who get through pallets fast are going to really benefit from this perk. So you're going to see this with Brutal Strength, Knockout, Fire Up, stuff like that. Let's talk about the thematics of the perk. Does not really fit. Knockout, and it makes you slower? No, it doesn't fit. But slugging had become such a problem for people that this was a really good change, and it was probably needed for a while now. So, thematically, does not fit at all. Gameplay-wise, pretty interesting, I think, actually. But... we'll have to wait to see for it to come to live. Overall, let's talk about... Well, we also have the new killer, by the way. Don't forget that. Sorry. Completely forgot to talk about that. But we don't know what that killer looks like, so we'll have to wait and see. Let's talk about this patch. Pretty good. I'm a big fan of this patch, genuinely. I think there's a few misses on here. The perks especially. Not very well done. Xenomorph changes. I'll have to wait and actually see them. I don't know. I just don't think Xenomorph was really a killer that needed changed. With all the killers you have in the game, like Trapper, no changes for Trapper. No changes for Skull Merchant outside of a smaller tear radius, which they even went out of their way to say that she doesn't really fit it, but she like, they decided to give it to her anyways. Which is so weird. Just, like, please, just give her something. Legion changes, I think, are pretty safe, but, like, still not great. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. I think it's a really good patch. Really interesting, though. The terror radius changes, I think, are huge and opens up a gateway to do really exciting stuff. Really think Doctor should have been included on the 40-meter terror radius part, but we'll have to wait for that. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. Yeah, I just... The perk changes are a big miss for me. A big misfire. But we'll have to wait and see how this goes. That's going to be all for today. Sorry this was a bit rambly. It's completely unscripted. I'm sure you guys could tell. My name is Kassir, and I hope I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, and please have a good day. Oh, Pinhead video coming out later this week. Alright, sorry. I had to jam that in at the end here. Alright, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.